Implications of what's going on the Democratic side with House Intelligence Committee member and a Hillary Clinton supporter, California Congressman Adam Schiff, the ranking member, I should say, of the House Intelligence Committee. Good to have you with us, Congressman. Do you believe that Clinton wins California? Do you believe that she captures the necessary number of pledged delegates before the convention?
Well, Chris, we want everybody to turn out and vote tomorrow, whoever they're supporting. We want a huge turnout. We want everybody participating in this process, and there'll be time on Wednesday to sort it out. But I think on Wednesday, Secretary Clinton will have the requisite number of delegates, both pledged and superdelegates. And I think the fact that she will have won by millions of votes, the popular vote, will have a majority of the pledged delegates, will mean that superdelegates that are committed to her will remain committed to her. But we don't want to get too much past tomorrow. We want everybody turning out. It's important not only that people have their voices heard in the presidential race tomorrow, but we have a lot of races a down ticket that we want people to turn out in as well. So we're encouraging a maximum turnout in California tomorrow.
Two big obstacles for Hillary Clinton. The first one is in the form of the Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. If she captures, Hillary Clinton, the number of pledged delegates, I know how your system works. I know that the superdelegates count, but I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, if she gets the pledged delegates, would you suggest that Bernie Sanders withdraw and have a subsidiary role at the convention as opposed to what he's contesting right now, which is that I'm going to the convention, I'm trying to win this nomination?
Look, I think that anything I might suggest, or if others are trying to push him out, he's likely to push back, and that's a decision ultimately he's going to have to make. I do think that we all want to see the same thing, that we broadly hold the same policy priorities, and the last thing we want to do is have a divisive fight that helps Donald Trump become president of the United States. And I know that Secretary Clinton, after Tuesday, is going to make her best outreach to Senator Sanders. I hope that's reciprocated. I hope they can join forces in an effort to make sure that a Democrat is in the White House, because it would be a disaster in terms of the issues of income inequality, the issues of trying to raise wages in America, campaign spending, if we have someone like Donald Trump in the White House. So for all the issues that the Sanders supporters as well as Clinton supporters care about, we need a coming together of this party, and I hope that begins on Wednesday.
Now, you know that there is no category that Sanders does better against Clinton in than trust. And there are some big issues hanging out there over Hillary Clinton's, which she's going to have to deal with, the campaign and her supporters alike. Bernie Sanders just mentioned that he has concerns when the Clinton Global Initiative, the foundation, was taking in millions and millions of dollars from foreign companies at the same time that she was Secretary of State. This is not something she talks about. Her campaign says she answers these questions all the time. That's not really true. That IG report raised a lot of questions about what she said versus what she did with the emails. As the House ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, you know the FBI is looking at the handling of intelligence information by Clinton. How big are these issues for you?
Well, look, I think the Justice Department will be wrapping up its investigation in the near future.
How do you know,
sir? They're going to conclude that they're...
How do you know?
Because I think, and I don't know for sure, Chris, you're right, but I know just from the public comments that I think the director has made that they want to get this done in a thorough but expeditious way. I don't think they want this to carry on through the course of the entire year. So they're going to, dot every I and cross every T, make sure they do a completely thorough investigation. But I imagine that's going to wrap up soon. And when it does, I think Secretary Clinton can put this behind her. Of course, the Republicans are going to continue to try to make an issue of it. But nonetheless, I think when you compare it in the bigger scheme of things to what voters are going to care about going to the polls in November, they're going to be far more concerned about the contradictory and often counterproductive positions that Donald Trump has taken when it comes to the national security of the country, something I care deeply about. He just reversed himself again on the subject of Libya. And the Secretary, I think, made a very powerful speech earlier in the week highlighting all of the ways in terms of his praise for Putin and Kim Jong-un of North Korea, his belittling of the NATO alliance, the fact that he is unconcerned about a nuclear arms race in the Middle East or another one in Asia. These things are antithetical to our interests, and frankly, I think Americans care much more deeply about than they do about emails.
But the trust, as you know, is what this winds up projecting onto. We see it in every poll, very often Clinton and Trump. But, you know, I think if you're comparing yourself to Trump on this basis, you're already speaking to a problem that you have. You know, she's upside down very often when it comes to positive and negative favorable ratings, and it's usually always about trust. You believe, just to end the interview on this note, which obviously is sensitive to you and your position on the Intel Committee, you believe the FBI wraps up and there are no indictments?
Absolutely, Chris. I haven't seen any evidence of any kind of a criminal intent here. So I think they do wrap up their investigation and conclude there's no evidence of a crime. So I feel confident going forward. But look, I do think, Chris, that part of what we're seeing is the cumulative impact of 4 years of intensive attacks on Secretary Clinton. The Republicans don't want to run against her. They do want to run against Senator Sanders, which is why you've seen them concentrate all their fire on Secretary Clinton. And that has an impact on trust. All that negative campaigning does have an impact, but it's something I'm confident the Secretary will overcome as we move into the general election.
Adam Schiff, Congressman, Democrat from California, thank you for joining us on New Day as always, sir.